Are you tired of spending endless hours filming and editing vertical clips only to watch them get lost in the shuffle of social media algorithms? I completely understand the struggle, because we all know that long-form content often gets ignored while the algorithm demands short, punchy vertical videos. Social platforms offer incredible reach, but if you rely on just one network, you are leaving your entire distribution strategy vulnerable to a single policy change. This week, I am going to show you how to take that vertical phone footage and make it look amazing in a professional, horizontal YouTube-style layout. We will be using Canva, a helpful free tool, and one secret weapon that I will mention later, which honestly saves hours for creators like us. The biggest challenge when repurposing vertical video is never the footage itself, but rather the framing and the composition. When you just drop a skinny phone clip into a standard 16:9 canvas, it inevitably looks like an afterthought. Let us fix that right now with some clever design techniques, instead of wasting your time on a total reshoot. For the first approach, we are going to lean into the phone vibe by opening a YouTube canvas and picking a dark brand color background. Next, pull in a phone mockup and specifically look for one with a soft shadow because that adds instant depth to the design. Now, add a slightly rounded rectangle frame that sits exactly where the phone screen should be inside the mockup. Send that frame behind the phone mockup so it hides any awkward overspill of the video edges. Upload your vertical clip and drop it into that frame, which allows you to reposition or crop it for the perfect composition. Use the position tool to send everything behind the mockup. Then group those layers so you can move and scale them as one object. Tilt it slightly and scale it up so the phone becomes a focal design element on the left side, leaving the right side as useful real estate. That right-hand space is actually perfect for your captions and supporting copy to keep the viewer engaged. Use the auto-generated captions feature to bring in your text, then drag them over and strip the background using effects. Switch to a bold and legible font like Poppins to ensure accessibility and watchability for your viewers. Size the captions up so they are prominent, because big and readable text makes a huge difference in engagement. Now play through the video to see how the synced captions and the framed phone create a balanced, professional horizontal frame. For the second layout, start a new horizontal canvas with a brand color background and add a big, bold, chunky headline. Center that text, break it into 3 lines, and add a subtle animation like blur in by word to give it a polished feel. Duplicate that slide, remove the animation, and reduce the text opacity so it smoothly dissolves into the background. Between those 2 slides, add a slow dissolve transition to make the sequence feel cinematic. On the second slide, add a square frame centered slightly above the middle where your clip will land. Delay the frame's entrance by a second or 2 so the title has space to breathe before the video arrives. Drop your vertical clip into the square frame and reframe it inside the shape for better subject placement. Generate your captions again and shrink them to sit under the video for a look that is subtle but totally readable. The result is an intro that feels cinematic, with a clip that is tightly integrated into the design rather than just floating awkwardly. For the third layout, let us try a creative brief style using a light background. Bring in the phone mockup on the left and create a grid on the right with rounded rectangles for teaser copy and logos. Add a texture by dropping in a subtle paper or grain image on one of the blocks, dialing down the transparency for a decorative touch. Place real-world props like a paperclip or pencil image across the layout so they overlap slightly with the phone mockup. Those overlapping shadows really sell the 3-dimensional effect and make the whole composition pop. Now you have a layout that tells a fuller story, combining your vertical video with context and supplementary information. If you want to call out specific tips from the clip, just type them into the white box and add a logo into the square. Now, let us talk about a neat trick that Canva cannot do directly, which is creating a blurred background video export. Adobe Express has a free blur adjustment that you can crank up, export that blurred clip, and use it as a full bleed background. Drop the original vertical clip into a frame in the center, add a border, and you have motion texture that echoes the action. That Adobe Express trick is a design-level shortcut, but many creators skip the most time-consuming part of this whole process. Finding the right moments, trimming them, and deciding what deserves captions is incredibly repetitive. This is exactly where a smarter tool like Vizard really shines for busy creators. Vizard is not a replacement for Canva's design, but a time-saving layer that sits earlier in your editing workflow. Imagine you have a long interview or lecture. Vizard's AI scans that video to find the most potent moments that are likely to go viral. Instead of manually dragging markers, you get a batch of compelling riffs and highlights ready to be polished. When you bring these clips into Canva, you are already starting with pre-cut, high-impact pieces that you can easily design around. Beyond auto-editing, Vizard's auto-schedule feature helps you decide a publishing tempo without you having to manually manage everything. The content calendar is perfect for creators juggling multiple platforms, letting you tweak and publish without juggling 5 tabs. These tools don't just pick the best 30 seconds out of an hour-long conversation, they solve the what to post and when to post problems. So, put them together. Vizard finds the moments, you style them in Canva, and you have a solid, repeatable loop. As you repurpose your content, keep the phone frame large enough to be clear, but let it be an accent rather than the whole canvas. Always remember that big captions are not optional, because most people are watching your videos on mute. Use shadows and textures to sell the depth, because flat vertical clips will feel pasted on without those little details. When in doubt, add context with a headline or a logo to make the video feel like part of a bigger brand story. If this helped, share it with a fellow creator who is struggling to manage their long-form and short-form content. Seriously, let an AI tool sniff through your footage and pull the blooms, because it is wild how much time you get back. Now go make something that looks intentional, not accidental. And finally, step away from the doom scrolling. I will catch you in the next video, so keep creating and stop wasting your potential on manual busy work.